This is 7 News.
Tonight, police investigate a road death mystery.
Look, we just really don't know.
Banks accused of greed as interest rates rise.
Bit of a kick in the guts.
And the medical tourists costing taxpayers millions.
From the studios of 7 Perth, Sally Bowrey.
Good evening. Police from the Major Crash Unit are investigating a road death mystery, trying to work out why a man was on foot in the middle of an unlit highway in the early hours of the morning. The 33-year-old was killed when he was hit by a truck and possibly other vehicles on the southwest highway near Bailingup. Blake Johnson reports.
Just after the truck cleared a bend, it ran over the 33-year-old man on a straight stretch of the southwest highway. Police don't know why the victim was there at 2:20 in the morning. The man's dirt bike was found on the side of the road about 120 metres before the spot he was killed. Police say he wasn't riding it at the time.
Any indication of what he was doing in the middle of the highway at 2:30 this morning?
Look, that's a key focus of our inquiries, and that's obviously as part of the investigation what we'll be trying to determine.
There's little visible damage to the truck's bull bar. Crash investigators say it's possible the man was lying on the road. The truck was travelling at up to 100 kilometres an hour. The truckie told police he didn't see the man before the collision, but he heard a noise. About 1.5 kilometres later at this truck stop behind me, he pulled over and called police. Police are also looking at the possibility the man's trail bike broke down and he was looking for a lift. He lived in Greenbushes, a town about 5 kilometres away. Police say he may have been run over more than once.
There was one truck initially. Two other vehicles have been identified as having passed over the scene after the collision in fact occurred. Investigators
want anyone who saw a man walking with a green trail bike on the southwest highway last night to get in touch through Crime Stoppers. In Bailingup, Blake Johnson, 7 News.
There was another fatal crash this morning. It happened on the Quairading York Road just before 7 a.m. Police believe that the vehicle left the road and rolled down an embankment, crashing into and killing the driver, a 74-year-old man from Brookton. And another driver is in a serious condition after crashing his car into 2 trees in Nollamurra. He was taken to hospital with injuries to his chest and abdomen. Mortgage payers are being urged to shop around after 2 major lenders raise their interest rates. Experts predict the other big banks will follow suit, despite a freeze on official rates. Adam Walters has the story.
In a week when so many expected interest rates to fall, home buyers have been stunned as ANZ and Westpac go the other way.
It's very cheeky to do that, I think, considering how much money they make.
Both banks are raising their standard variable rates and there are fears the rest will follow.
You know, for all the other banks to put it up, I think it's just been a bit greedy and a bit out of order, to be honest with you.
Bit of a kick in the guts if you're a Westpac or ANZ customer.
After a $6.9 billion profit, Westpac is lifting its standard rate to 7.46%, meaning an extra $26 a month on a $400,000 mortgage. The same loan with ANZ will cost $15 more a month after the bank raked in a $5.65 billion profit.
Their net interest margins are back to where they were prior to the global financial crisis.
Consumer groups went on the attack, accusing the major banks of living on another planet.
So if banks are going to live in the same world as their customers, that means putting your customers first.
That's why I say to their customers, let them know what you think.
It's probable Commonwealth Bank and National Australia will move as well.
The NAB vows to remain the cheapest of the big four. Adam Walters, 7 News.
It's not just mortgages that are going up, rents are on the rise too. And here in Perth, the number of rental properties which are available is at a record low, causing panic among people desperate to find a home. Chantel Tui reports.
The Welches are a family of 6 who have nowhere to live. They've had to move out of their Duncraig rental of 19 years and now will have to fight for another property in a tightening Perth rental market.
I am emotionally drained. I've had that many tears. And in actual fact, I'm back again.
Only 2.3% of Perth's rental properties are currently vacant. The Real Estate Institute says that's the lowest rate in 10 years. So when a rental does come on the market, the rush is on. In just 15 minutes, there were 30 people through this North Perth home open today.
Nervous. We've got a limited stay in a serviced apartment, so the clock is ticking for us to find a place of our own.
And real estate agent Paul Tonich says if you've got a pet, forget it. There's too much competition.
A lot of the buyers are sitting back at the moment, seeing where interest rates go, which causes an increase in rental properties, plus with the employment in the mining industry.
Turning up at open houses, there's sort of, 10 to 15 different groups of people there, so it's a bit daunting.
The cost of renting has skyrocketed. It's risen by $20 a week to a median $420 for a house in Perth. The competition is so fierce, many renters are offering more than the asking price just to secure a place to live.
It can be anywhere between $25 to up to $100 over the asking price. We've had as high as $150.
We're thinking we'll just offer more than the asking price in a hope that we can be the lucky ones to secure it.
Chantel Toohey, 7 News.
Hospital patients from overseas are costing the WA health system millions of dollars. Chantel Toohey's at Royal Perth Hospital with the details. Chantel, how does this happen?
Well, Sally, it's all about billing. People from overseas who fall ill here and have to have a hospital operation are supposed to pay for their treatment unless they're from a country with a reciprocal medical agreement with Australia. But most Asian countries and the USA don't have any such agreement, and patients from those countries are going home after treatment here, leaving behind unpaid bills, $3.3 million worth last year.
The government really needs to look at ways of actually getting this money back, because that is money that's disappearing out of our health service, which means that it's not being used to treat our community and our patients.
Now, Sally, the AMA is suggesting imposing flight levies or making travel insurance compulsory to stop this happening in the future.
Thanks, Chantel. Chantel Toohey there. A rogue Afghan soldier who shot 3 Aussie diggers in Afghanistan has boasted of his mission in a Taliban video, and security experts now fear it will be used to inspire other recruits to follow his lead.
This is Mohammed Rosie, the rogue Afghan recruit who opened fire on Australian soldiers in Afghanistan last November. Gloating in the video, he said how he ambushed the 3 diggers who were there to train him.
Disgusting propaganda, making claims about harming Australian soldiers and, trying to put those claims before the world.
The troops survived, and Rosie escaped from the patrol base and is now on the run. The video said to be a public relations coup for the Taliban.
This is a godsend for them, I suppose, in the sense that Mohammed Rosie is survived the attack on the Australian troops.
Rogue Afghan soldiers shot 14 Australians last year, killing 4.
I think that the fact that there was an element of betrayal in the deaths of these particular Australian soldiers adds an additional element of horror to it.
The video runs for 47 minutes and much of the information about the incident is factually incorrect. But security experts fear it will be used to inspire and recruit others to join the Taliban. Rosie also says in the video that our soldiers are fearful and now even too afraid to fire back.
It certainly does show that they believe that they're winning.
No amount of propaganda is going to dent our will to get this mission done.
The Defence Department says Rosie is trying to justify his cowardly attack. Mia Greaves, 7 News.
The federal government is appealing for global help in its bid to get the world's biggest and most powerful radio telescope built here in WA. It's called the Square Kilometre Array. It costs $2.5 billion and will help scientists discover the deepest secrets of the universe. The Square Kilometre Array could unlock the biggest question we face: are we alone? Unfortunately, Australia is not alone in its bid to build the $2.5 billion telescope, facing a rival bid from South Africa.
The fact that Australia is economically strong, is very politically stable, will allow us to say to people, if you're going to invest in a project that's of 50 years duration, you're going to make sure you're investing in a place that can get a project of this size up and running.
The federal government will travel to China and Italy to rally support. And if we win the bid, this is where it will go, a cattle station in Murchison in the middle of WA. Made up of 3,000 dishes, it will be the largest telescope in the world, 10,000 times faster than any other. The daily flow of data bigger than the internet, processed by a supercomputer 100 times quicker than today's fastest. Construction is scheduled to start in 2016. The decision on who wins is expected next month. Bert Newton remains in hospital in Singapore as he recovers from what's thought to have been another bout of pneumonia. His wife Patty flew to his bedside from Melbourne last night, assuring his fans Bert is happy and not about to slow down.
As Patty Newton touched down in Singapore, there was one thing on her mind.
I'm just going to make sure that my man's okay.
Bert Newton was admitted to Raffles Private Hospital in Singapore after complications from a virus. It's thought he could have pneumonia. He's been performing as the Wizard of Oz in the Asian tour of the musical Wicked.
Yeah, he's always in good spirits, you know, Bert. He's always very, very happy and very jolly, and of course he's a wizard. Why wouldn't he be?
This latest scare comes after he was admitted to Melbourne's Epworth Hospital last year with a similar condition.
Despite renewed fears for her husband's health, Patty Newton says she'll struggle to convince Bert to slow down his busy schedule. The TV legend turned 74 this year.
Every now and then, when you get a little bit older, you have a little, I'm sure nature takes its course and makes you slow down for a minute, and I think that's what this is.
The producers of Wicked say the Wizard of Oz will be back on stage next week. In Singapore, Geraldine Nordfeldt, 7 News.
Coming up on 7 News, Madonna's Super Bowl stalker. And Beyonce's new baby, first pictures released on Twitter. Plus, Black Caviar's bid for 18 wins in a row.
The pride of Australia is the greatest show on earth.
It's been revealed that while Madonna was performing her halftime show during the Super Bowl, a man convicted of stalking her had escaped from a psychiatric institution. He's now been recaptured, but police are furious they weren't told he'd broken out. Beyonce and rapper husband Jay-Z have released the first pictures of their new daughter, Blue Ivy Carter. The intimate family shots were posted on Twitter showing the newborn sporting a head of thick black hair. New mum Beyonce also poses for a photo, as does the proud new dad. The happy parents chose to reject a lucrative magazine deal and are instead making the pictures available at no cost. They also released a handwritten note thanking fans for respecting their privacy. The eyes of the racing world were on Australian racehorse Black Caviar today as she set out to try and make it 18 wins in a row. And as Giro Sen reports, there was no stopping the mighty mare. More sport now with Chris Young. And Chris, the footy's back.
A hot night for it, Sally, but the Dockers turned on a bit of a show for their fans. They would have been scratching their heads wondering who this bloke was. And Australia's new gloveman turns it on again.
Matty Wade moving beautifully.
That's our look at sport. Here's Sally.
Thanks, Chris. Stay with us here on 7 News. Your working life may be over. Saturday's jackpot lotto draw is coming up. We've got some slightly cooler conditions on the way this week with a touch of wet weather expected too. It was fairly warm overnight though. 20 was the lowest it got to. We almost reached 29 today. Fairly humid too today, even in this studio right now in the city. It's 24.1 and the wind is west-southwest at 11 kilometres an hour. On the satellite chart, we just have a few isolated showers tonight and also some thunderstorms for the western parts of the Goldfields and also just that southeastern coastal district. It'll stay fairly humid along the west coast over the next 24 hours. Then a trough will move eastwards into tomorrow with a high developing in behind it. Some isolated showers and drizzle are expected with those onshore winds for the coastal areas between Jurien Bay and Israelite Bay. Around the rest of the country tomorrow, showers expected for most of the east coast, a storm or two in Brisbane and also in Darwin, a top of 34 degrees there. The Alice should be fine, 35 the maximum, also mostly fine in Adelaide with a top of 25 degrees. On the water tomorrow in Perth, southwesterly winds are expected, 10 to 15 knots, then more picking up into the afternoon, 15 to 20 knots, more south-southwest. in direction. Seas will be 1.5 metres on 1.5 metres swell. Tomorrow's forecast in the city is for a cloudy day with a chance of a light shower or two. That will be mostly early in the morning, a top of 29 degrees expected. Monday, mostly sunny skies. Tuesday, also clear and 33 degrees. Bit of cloud on Wednesday and 33. Partly cloudy Thursday and 34. Also a touch of cloud on Friday, but staying dry, 32 degrees. And on Saturday, partly cloudy and a top of 30. Now it's time for Saturday Lotto. Good luck. That's 7 News this Saturday. Thanks for your company. Good night.
She's kicked away.